She's in Lois Lane in Superman. No. She wasn't Lois Lane. Who? Yeah, she was Lois Lane in Superman, right?
Yeah, she was, and she was in American Hustle.
That's right. Tell me about what happened with her. Tell me about the story. She was flying and gave up her seat. Tell me the story about this.
Yeah, basically, she was flying out of Detroit, heading to Los Angeles, back home, I would assume. And she had seen that there was she was already seated. She was seated in her first class seat, and she looked back and saw that there was a U.S. soldier that had come in through the back door of the airplane and was being seated in coach. And evidently, her dad, I believe, was military. And so she went over to one of the stewardesses, kind of whispered to her and told her that she wanted to switch seats with the soldier and give him the first class seat. So she kind of went off to the side. The stewardess went back and got the soldier and seated him up in first class, and then she went around and sat back in coach.
Yeah, she just became one of my favorite
Isn't that
actresses.
Cool?
That's really cool. How cool is that? That's I really like her now. So mark that down, Kevin. This show's officially a fan of Amy Adams.
Mark it. You got it?
I got it.
Down.
Okay, good.
I got it.
Okay,
I got my
good.
pen over
It's
here.
it's in the official Dana Show guidebook.
Yes, it is.
So from now on, we are fans and we go see her movies. I
Done.
like that. I love that she did that. That is so cool. Love that. They should. How cool would it have been if everybody else in first class, who is way less known than Amy Adams, if they all gave up their seats to any other soldiers that were on the plane? That's so cool. Thank you for sharing that story with me. That was pretty awesome.
Sure.
How about that to go into the weekend, right? I am too chill right now today, Kevin. Although that one made me real happy. So look, I got a little bit fired up. That story made me happy. But so here's the other one. My very good friend Uncle Ted sent me an unreleased track from his forthcoming disc, Shut Up and Jam. He's going on tour, and then he's got this disc that's basically pulling from like 37 some odd different albums. Really, I'm stoked about it. I can't play it on air, but I heard it earlier. In fact, before we went on air, you probably heard a little bit of it on the mic. The guitar licks will melt your face just right off the bone. Just right off. That's what it sounds like, by the way. So I was listening to that, and I'm like, I cannot believe that Uncle Ted just sent me a track. Just, hey, check this out. And I thought that was really cool, because apparently this is life now. Just so bizarre. It's bizarre in that, I remember watching him when he was on with, I just forgot his name, from Anthrax. Ian, help me, Kevin. You're not helping.
No, I know.
It's Scott Ian.
Yeah, it's Scott Ian.
Scott Ian, thank you.
From
Anthrax. Who else was he on with? Was he on there with Sebastian Bach too? Remember when they all lived together and they had to do that super group? And Ted was like the most
you know what?
down-to-earth,
I think I do remember
responsible
seeing
one
a
of all
silver
of them.
jumpsuit somewhere. I think that Sebastian Bach might have been there.
Yeah. By the way, he has aged very well. I feel like that needs to be said. He has aged really well. I was a big Skid Row fan in elementary school. He's aged really well. But anyway, long story short, it's a really good track. And it drops, the disc drops, was it July 8th is when it comes out. And then he goes on tour. So he's still rocking. Very cool stuff. See, Kevin, Texas has that over you. See, we have this little Missouri, Texas. I love Missouri, don't get me wrong, but you hate Texas, and so I'm just saying.
I never said I hate Texas.
Mississippi.
I like how you always put words. You put words in my mouth all the time. I hate Game of Thrones. I hate Texas. I hate
you do
kids.
hate Game of Thrones.
What else do you
Jason
say?
Church will
I
back
hate?
me up on that.
No, I don't hate kids. I don't hate Texas.
I never said that you hated a windbreaker, though.
Yeah,
I love you some windbreakers.
But you put words in my mouth. I hate Game of Thrones.
I don't put no words in your mouth.
I just don't watch Game of Thrones because I don't have HBO like Moneybags Church over there does apparently.
Come on.
Even though it's...
You know why? Because he has fewer windbreakers. I'm sorry. We don't have as many windbreakers as you, Moneybags.
I'm sorry.
I don't swish as much when I walk, so... Gotta make up for it somehow.
Yeah. So I don't have HBO, but I've seen the first season of Game of Thrones, and there's other things like Star Wars. You say I hate Star Wars all the time, or I don't like that. I just don't. It's been a while since I've seen the movies. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I think I'll handle that. I think I'll handle that. That's good. You know what we haven't done yet? Fridays are weird. Let's face it. Everybody's listening to this program sitting by the pool. They are. Can't you hear him? Listen. See, they're all sitting by the pool. Did you hear that? Yeah, you heard
Church
that,
has a
didn't
pool
you?
because he's rich. I don't know if you knew that.
I do not have a
He's
pool.
rich. He's riding around in Mini Coopers and, and all kinds of stuff.
Come on.
You see the pictures he posts.
Oh, really quickly before we open up the phone lines, and because it's Friday, and Friday because I know that the brass over at Radio America, Mike Paradiso, he's not in the office today. What about the brass there at the flagship? Is he in the office?
Yeah, he's here. He's always here. His goatee's here.
Damn. Anyway, what I was going to say is I discovered that owning a pygmy owl is illegal. I heard that. I didn't know. Apparently, there's this thing called the Migratory Bird Act, which just wants to rain all over my parade, and it won't let me own a pygmy owl. Apparently, I can own a burrow owl, but its legs are a little longer. I don't know how I feel about that. Really want one, though. It still looks very accusatory when it looks at you. It looks at you like it hates you. I love that. So, maybe that's an option for me. A burrow owl instead of a pygmy owl. Have I sent you any of those videos? I sent you one of them, didn't I?
I saw the owls. I don't think I even looked at them, but no.
Gosh,
I watched all of them and loved them. They were the greatest things
right.
ever. Oh, yeah, it's Friday. Remember, we got to do that.
Yeah, it's Open Line Friday. Hit it. 866-455-9797. We are now opening up the phone lines. We're going to be working everybody's calls in throughout the broadcast. 866-455-9797. Coming up, more on this. If you thought the Mississippi primary runoff was over, it's not, and it just got worse. Some are saying that the NRSC, that the National Republican Senatorial Committee, has literal blood on its hands now. I think it's going to get even dirtier, folks. Keep it here. We also have Ed Klein coming up, Steven Crowder, mailbag of hate, so much more.
The Dana Show. Get more Dana Show at 971talk.com. This Dana Show podcast brought to you by Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling. Need service, maintenance, or a new HVAC system? Air Comfort Service works 24/7, keeping area homes and businesses comfortable. If you have a heating and cooling problem, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Dana Lash is off and running, generating the buzz.
All bets are off at this point.
So great to talk to you, Dana. You're my favorite.
Dana, you and I are blood brothers for the American dream.
Dana Lash, the conservative alternative. This is The Dana Show.
I don't watch TV news generally, or cable shows. But I suspect if you're out here and going to work and picking up your kids and taking them to soccer, or at night sitting there paying the bills, and you just turn on the TV, sometimes it must feel kind of discouraging because it doesn't feel like what's being talked about in Washington has anything to do with what's going on in your lives day to day. And it must feel as if sometimes you're just forgotten.
Well, he's just, Mark Knoller had said earlier that the president was complaining about receiving hate mail. And I thought, why don't you read some of my hate mail sometime? For this story, and then there was the whole situation with Gary Oldman, who I've always enjoyed as an actor. We're going to talk to our friend and regular Steven Crowder. You can find him at louderwithcrowder.com. Steven, I'm really disappointed in Gary Oldman. Your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'm really disappointed because he apologized. For those out there who haven't really been following this, it's really important because people need to know, Gary Oldman is a conservative. It's been a little-known secret for a long time, and now it's a well-known secret, which is really rare because he's an Englishman. He spoke in an interview very candid with Playboy magazine talking about political correctness. And, of course, you have the Anti-Defamation League, the Gestapo coming after him, telling him that he has to apologize, when at no point did he say anything mean, hateful, disrespectful. He defended free speech, and he apologized, and it's still not enough, which is a lesson to anyone out there. If you let the PC police run you down and demand an apology, it doesn't matter. They're going to make you look stupid, and they're not going to accept it anyway, especially if you're conservative.
Right, and it seemed ironic because he was making a point about politically correct speech, and then he has to apologize. Do you think that he did
Right.
it because he was forced to?
Yes, he did it absolutely because he was forced to. And like, as you know, Dana, listen, we have a lot of friends in the entertainment industry, A-list actors who